So continuing on this theme, Gleb, of this generational gap that's existing in our workplace today, what are how do you manage? Like, let's say you're in an enterprise organization and you have individuals who are spanning different generations. How do you manage that?
Well, going back to the example I was talking about the lawyers, I see that in enterprise organizations and large organizations. Like I said, Atlassian is a pretty large organization. Applied Materials, another one of my clients, also testimonials on my website. You can check those out. And that these are large organizations. You have mid-sized organizations, you have small organizations. The key is pretty similar. Like you have, what I see is a big digital gap where the managers who are older tend to have many more struggles with hybrid work, with remote work, and with digital work because they are used to relying on emails. They are not nearly as inventive and creative about using digital tools. So, like I said in that strategic retreat, the senior partners were pretty clueless about using Microsoft Teams. Then the junior partners were using it extensively, and it was fixing their problems around collaboration, but they were not using it nearly as extensively and aggressively as the most junior paralegals and associates who are getting the most benefits out of it. And so what I see is you need to get people coordinated. You need to train people on having the same standards, and especially this is really difficult. We need to empathize here with leaders, with senior managers. They were successful for 20, 30, 40 years in the office. They know how to walk around and ask questions. Like one of the senior partners at the law firm said, like, well, why can't I just go down the hall and have a conversation with someone? And of course, you don't need to really drive into the office in order to ensure that you can go on Microsoft Teams quickly and have a conversation with someone who's signed, if it says that they're available on that kind of green sign, right? And they'll respond quickly. But they don't know that. It's not intuitive to them. So we really need to be empathetic to them and understand where they're coming from and understand that it's kind of upending the status hierarchy and the power dynamics. So if it's the most junior people who know best how to use tools like Microsoft Teams or Slack or other digital tools, well, no wonder managers want to go back to the office because they don't like being the ones who have to be taught and feel incompetent in these digital tools. So we really need to be understanding where their emotions are coming from, what they're feeling. And these emotions are the fundamental thing that I think is the obstruction. I mean, it seems simple to get training on these things, but you have to get over people's emotional blocks, people's defensiveness. And this is causing so much of the current return to office is people's emotional blocks and their defensiveness and their unwillingness to lower themselves on the status hierarchy and be the noobs in using these tools and have to have the people, the 20-somethings, school them on these tools. So this is a really big problem that I think is greatly underestimated, that I have to face every day when I am helping companies figure this out. This is a big, big challenge.
That makes sense. I mean, in so many walks of life, having the grace to be able to step back and understand someone else's perspective and experience it's a skill, it's a muscle, right? It takes time to develop that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, I'm glad that that's part of what you're teaching. Gleb, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing such concrete pieces of information, of thought leadership and insight. How can our audience connect with you, follow your work more closely?
Sure. So you can check out my book, Returning to the Office and Leading Hybrid and Remote Teams, like I said, on Amazon, an audiobook, paperback, Kindle. You can check out my website, disasteravoidanceexperts.com, for all of my resources, my blogs, my newsletters, and you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Happy to connect with folks. Just tell me you heard me on Virtual Sapiens and my conversation with Rachel. I don't just accept LinkedIn requests. Way too many people connecting with me there. But please do so on LinkedIn. So find my profile. It's Gleb Tsipursky. I'm the only one there. GLEB TSIPURSKY.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And as always, to our listeners, thank you so much for following Conversations in the Future of Work.